So before we start the video, I'd like to ask you guys to please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it helps the channel grow. So, let's get into it. Alright, so week 6 of the NFL season is coming to a close, and for the Chicago Bears, they take a heartbreaking loss at home to the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday in a game that wasn't really close until the fourth quarter. In this video, as usual, I'm going to give y'all my recap on what I saw during the game, give my grades for offense, defense, special teams, and coaching, and without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, guys? KT here, back at it with another video. Today, we're doing the Bears. The Bears take a 19-13 loss at home to the Minnesota Vikings in a game that's, destined to make a lot of storylines, and a game where they honestly could have won this, but, a lot of things went wrong this game. So we'll get started right away, starting with the offense. I think if we all want to get to the main thing in this video, is how did Justin Fields play on Sunday? And my response to that is that he really didn't play. He only had 6. He went 6 for 10 on Sunday for 58 yards and averaged 9 yards per throw. He had 1 interception. He took 4 sacks, and he had a 36.7 quarterback rating. Justin Fields went out with a right hand injury early in the third quarter, I think, and Tyson Bagent then came in to play the rest of the game. And Bagent, he was up and down. I don't think he was all that great, or at least not as great as people make it seem. He was 10 of 14 for 83 yards. He averaged 8 yards per throw. He threw 1 interception. He took 1 sack, which ended up in a sack fumble, and he had a 56.5 QBR rating. Look, man, regardless of what quarterback they put in the game, it didn't seem to matter who they actually put in the game, except for one drive in which Bagent led them down to a touchdown score, and it seemed like the Vikings were playing very, very soft coverage. But the offensive game planning for these quarterbacks was just not good. Justin Fields not getting out of the pocket, guys not getting open, they're not able to protect them. Same thing with Tyson Bagent on that sack fumble. Guys came in unblocked, and he was able to get the ball out. Tyson Bagent, he had his moments. That 1 strike to DJ Moore, which was a hospital ball that Moore somehow caught. But Tyson Bagent, he's undrafted for a reason, and it showed on that last drive in which Bagent threw that game-ending interception and a ball that was really poorly thrown. But other than that, I would think the QB play, it's not all on the QBs for this game. Obviously, the main question is to see how Justin Fields is doing with his right hand, if he's going to be able to go for next week, or how long he's going to be out with the injury. But overall, I don't think either quarterback played particularly well. I just don't think the offense played well at all, as they didn't do the things that made them successful last week. So it's a really tough subject to talk about, as it's kind of hard to evaluate it, but we're going to move on. Rushing the ball, I really liked the way D'Onta Foreman ran the ball on Sunday. 15 attempts for 65 yards, averaged 4 yards per carry. He did have 1 fumble lost, but he recovered. Justin Fields was the second leading rusher of the day with 46 yards and 5 yards per carry. I would think that the Bears would want to try and get Fields moving a little bit more in this game, but they didn't do that. They let him stand back in the pocket too much. But D'Onta Foreman, he's been inactive for 5 straight weeks. And he didn't miss a beat. I honestly thought he could have got more carries. I thought the Bears kind of abandoned the run game, especially early in that second quarter. He honestly could have had 100 yards this game. He was gashing them. He was breaking tackles. I think honestly, Foreman shouldn't be inactive for the rest of the season. We don't know how long our starting running backs are going to be out. Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson. Darrington Evans had a nice game as well, 32 yards on the ground. You even saw Velus Jones back there running the ball. A little bit of creativity there, but overall, I don't think the Bears ran a lot of run plays that went anywhere and that really mattered. They didn't commit to it enough for me. 15 carries is just not enough for your starting running back. As for receiving, I'm very unhappy with the fact that the receiving game was so poor this week, as I thought they would want to work this Minnesota secondary. DJ Moore, 8 targets, 5 receptions for 51 yards. That's not enough for a guy that had 230 his previous week on only 8 catches. Darnell Mooney, 3 targets, 2 catches for 48 yards. Nobody had a touchdown on offense, at least for the receiving. I don't know what they were doing for this receiving game. Guys couldn't get open. They're running screen plays. It looked like the offense that we had seen for the first 3 weeks of the season. And I thought this was going to be a big game for a guy like Darnell Mooney, who initially looked good on his second catch of the game, but that was his only other catch of the game. And, you know, when you have 2 very good offensive weapons, 3 if you count Cole Kmet, who only had 9 yards, you should not be putting up 6 points basically for the entire game. I'm not happy with the receiving game at all. It's not like guys weren't open. Guys were open at times. Either the quarterback didn't see them or they didn't have enough time to get the ball to them. And on other times, they weren't scheming guys open either. So overall, bad game for the offense. I'm going to give them a D for this performance, as 6 points going into the fourth quarter is just not enough. Now, the defense, I really liked this Bears defense on Sunday. TJ Edwards, man, what a monster. Seven total tackles and 6 total solo tackles, but it seemed like he was everywhere on the field. He almost had a fumble recovery that they overturned. I don't agree with that either. He had a sack. He forced the interception to Tremaine Edmonds. This defense came out and played. We got our starting secondary back, except for Eddie Jackson, who went out with an injury later in the game. I really like the way Matt Eberflus's defense played on Sunday. They were able to man up their guy. They didn't let too many third down conversions go off. As far as pressure, you know, they had half a sack for Jaquan Brisker, half a sack for DeMarcus Walker, and 1 sack for TJ Edwards. Still didn't get Kirk Cousins to the ground like I thought they would. But they made his life difficult back there. They put some semblance of pressure on him. They made him throw into tight windows. Maybe the turnovers could have been a little bit better. I would like to see at least 1 interception and more than 3 sacks on the day, but I'm happy with how the defense played. They did their job. They got off the field on 3rd down. They were able to give that ball to the offense multiple times. It's just that the offense couldn't capitalize on it. The defense is going to get an A+ for me. Cairo Santos hit 2 field goals. Both of them were beyond 50 yards, so, you know, he played well. Velus Jones returned a couple kickoffs for 90 yards. I think special teams played really well. They even blocked the field goal. So I'm going to give them an A for this performance. The coaching, again, they came off a 10-day basically mini bye to put up the worst performance at home since the Packers game. 6 points in the first half is, for mostly the entire game, is not enough if you want to win games. The play calling was very bad. At 3rd and 7 in the red zone, and you run an inside zone, that's not gonna put points on the board. They settle for a field goal. You know, the multiple different route combinations that weren't working, leaving guys in scat protection, letting a running back block the best pass rusher on the field is not good either. But I really did like how Matt Eberflus's defense played. I thought he called basically a perfect game. He dialed up the blitzes. Luke Getsy was overall terrible. This is kind of like a mixed bag. I'm going to give the coaching a D+, as Luke Getsy's, you know, offense was basically anemic to scoring, especially when they got into positions to score. But I really liked how Matt Eberflus's defense played on Sunday. But overall, another heartbreaking loss for the Chicago Bears. They now fall to 1-5 on the season. They still have the number 1 and number 2 overall picks in the draft. They could play the Raiders next week in a game that's going to be difficult without Justin Fields. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to get up out of here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it helps the channel grow. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop one of these Bears videos. As always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Bear down, and I'm out. Peace.